For 12,000 years, Haile Gubi volcano stood silent in Ethiopia's Afar region. A gentle giant, it watched over a land shaped by extremes. The Afar people lived in its shadow, never fearing its presence. While nearby Erta Ale raged, Haile Gubi remained the quiet sibling. It was simply there, a landmark, not a threat. But beneath the surface, immense power waited. By 2025, the volcano gave no hint of the surprise it was preparing. The long silence was about to be broken. The land, so familiar, was about to change forever. The ancient volcano was ready to awaken. The first signs were almost invisible. 3 days before the eruption, a faint wisp of smoke rose from Haile Gubi's summit. Locals noticed, but in a land of heat and steam, it was just a curiosity. Then the ground began to tremble. Small, subtle quakes, barely more than a shudder. Seismographs picked up the activity, but such tremors are common in Ethiopia's restless Rift Valley. The mountain had been quiet for generations. No one suspected it was waking up. The volcano's hints were subtle, its intentions hidden deep below. The world above continued as usual, unaware of the danger building below. The true warning would come too late. Haile Gubi's long sleep was ending. On November 23, 2025, Haile Gubi erupted with a force unseen in millennia. The explosion shattered the desert silence, a sound like 1,000 bombs. A massive column of ash and gas blasted skyward, rising at incredible speed. The sky turned apocalyptic. Fountains of lava shot high. Rivers of molten rock flowed down the slopes. Lightning crackled within the ash cloud as the eruption created its own weather. Day turned to twilight as the sun was blotted out. The landscape was transformed in moments. The world watched as a sleeping giant roared back to life. The giant was awake and furious. For those living near Haile Gubi, life changed in an instant. The explosion's roar was followed by darkness as ash blotted out the sky. Panic swept through villages and nomadic camps. People fled, struggling to breathe as fine ash filled the air. The ground, homes, and animals were coated in gritty, suffocating dust. Respiratory problems spread quickly. The air reeked of sulfur. Authorities ordered evacuations. Families left everything behind. Tourists in Afdera found themselves trapped. Roads impassable under thick ash. The vibrant desert became a monochrome wasteland. Nomadic herders faced disaster. Their animals' food was poisoned, water contaminated. The choice, stay and risk starvation, or move through hazardous terrain. The eruption threatened not just lives, but a way of life honed over centuries. The beauty of the Danakil was replaced by desolation. Survival became the only priority. The eruption was a direct assault on culture, tradition, and hope. The people of Afar faced an uncertain future under the ash cloud. Haile Gubi's eruption sent a colossal ash cloud far beyond Ethiopia. Winds carried it east, tracked by satellites as it crossed the Red Sea and swept over the Arabian Peninsula. The plume traveled over Yemen, Oman, and into Pakistan, then India. By the next day, ash reached Rajasthan, spreading across northern and western India. The sky turned hazy, the sun dimmed by volcanic particles. Air travel was thrown into chaos. Ash is deadly for jet engines. India's aviation authority issued urgent warnings. Airlines cancelled flights. International carriers rerouted or suspended routes, echoing the chaos of Iceland's 2010 eruption. The world's air traffic network was disrupted across Asia and the Middle East. The eruption's reach was global, grounding flights and halting commerce. Millions were affected by a volcano thousands of kilometers away. The event showed how interconnected our world is. A remote eruption became a global crisis overnight. The sleeping giant's roar echoed across continents. Haile Gubi's ash cloud was a reminder. No place is truly isolated. Why did Haile Gubi erupt after 12,000 years? The answer lies in the East African Rift Valley, where tectonic plates are pulling apart. As the crust thins, magma rises closer to the surface, making Ethiopia a hotspot for volcanoes. For millennia, magma quietly accumulated beneath Haile Gubi. A fresh injection of hot, gas-rich magma triggered the eruption, like shaking a soda bottle before opening. Pressure built, causing small earthquakes as the magma forced its way upward. When the rock could no longer contain it, the eruption exploded to the surface. The long dormancy allowed immense pressure to build, fueling the explosive event. Scientists didn't predict this eruption. Monitoring dormant volcanoes is challenging. The eruption was a dramatic reminder of the restless forces shaping our planet. Even the quietest volcanoes can awaken without warning. Haile Gubi's eruption was not a mystery, but a natural consequence of tectonic power. The land is always changing, even when it seems still. When the ash settled, Afar's landscape was unrecognizable. Villages and grazing lands were buried under a thick grey blanket. The eruption ended by November 28th, but the damage was done. Livestock faced starvation. Plants were inedible, water contaminated. The air still carried a chemical tang. The ecosystem overturned. Haile Gubi itself was transformed. A new crater, black lava scars, steam rising from its peak. The mountain was now an active threat, not a silent landmark. The relationship between people and volcano had changed forever. Recovery began slowly. Winds and rain would eventually clear the ash. But hardship loomed. The people of Afar faced a long struggle to rebuild their lives and culture. Homes, grazing lands, and traditions were buried under volcanic fallout. The eruption's consequences would last for years. The land was changed, and so were its people. The silent mountain had left a permanent mark. The story of Afar had entered a new, uncertain chapter. As the ash settled, help arrived quickly. Mobile medical teams treated respiratory problems and distributed masks and water. Precautionary evacuations meant no deaths were reported. Thousands were displaced, needing shelter, food, and water. The Ethiopian government and international organizations coordinated relief. Temporary camps were set up, and convoys brought essential supplies. Aid focused on saving livestock. Veterinarians treated animals. Emergency fodder was delivered. Clean water for herds was a critical challenge. The response aimed to protect both people and their way of life. The world's attention turned to Afar, prompting global support. The disaster revealed the power of solidarity and compassion. In the face of nature's fury, humanity responded with hope. The people of Afar were not alone in their darkest hour. For scientists, Haile Gubi's eruption was a rare opportunity. Researchers flocked to Ethiopia to study the reawakening volcano. The data collected will improve volcanic hazard assessment worldwide. By analyzing seismic signals and gas emissions, scientists hope to better predict future eruptions. The eruption revealed new clues about the magma chamber and eruption triggers. Haile Gubi became a textbook case for understanding dormant volcanoes. For locals, the eruption divided life into before and after. Their resilience became a story of human endurance. The event connected a remote community to the world, grounding flights and focusing global attention. The Earth's power was undeniable, a reminder that our planet is alive and ever-changing. The silent mountain had spoken, and the world listened. Science and humanity both learned from Haile Gobbi's awakening.